Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is sensorality? What does sensorality stabilize? Looking to show the direct iteration of that syllability to complete our definition and to stabilize what is sensorality. So we continue on progressing our linguistics. Sensorality undermines determination. Subordination undermines hierarchiality. What is the order of chirality? When physical systems grow or evolve or progress, again, movement can only occur forward or backwards, left or right, up or down along a given, the given tension path, but the unique difference between 2 points is a line. And so when something grows, or when a flower, like you can see like the Fibonacci sequence of like a tulip's petals, not evolving, but growing. And so what is the order of chirality? Just again, we've kind of broken down what chirality is into you have this existence, inversion, opposition to differentiate. We see that manifested through, again, the right-hand rule or mirror symmetry or mirror asymmetry, I guess. But we've really broken down chirality to its fundamental mechanisms. Just that word felt relevant for that question. Again, hierarchiality is chirality. We made that connection a while ago. But just how does this inversion process manifest itself with physical growth? And so just a quick, super simple demonstration. I think even Ed Witten and Sean Carroll will be able to follow along with this one. And so for our geometric linguistics, I have a rubber band, It's elastic, it's deformable. But point being is this looks like the number 0. Or again, is 0 a number, 0 is not a number, even in the context of all numbers don't exist, they're just representations. 0 represents the set of nothing. That's why in your native counting systems you have 1, 2, many, and then you don't really even have a 0. And I think it was more like Arabic scholars throughout history invented the number 0 or whatever. You can read the history of math, it doesn't really matter. But all mathematics, again, emerges in pairs to physical processes. And there's no quantity to nothing. So 0 represents the set of nothing. But regardless, this looks like the number 0, or it looks like an oval. And then if you twist it or invert it, because you've noticed throughout my videos, my hand motion naturally does this for inversion, flipping verticality. But we take the 0 or the circle, not the circle, the oval or the 0, and we just twist it. Look at that. Really complicated stuff. But now what shape do we have, We have the 8. And so that simple inversion gives us this numeric bounding of 0 to 8. And there's a lot of different, not a lot, but the different numeric limits we've kind of addressed as they've come up. And so super simple demonstration, but if you, again, what would you call this motion? Boop. Twisting would kind of make sense. So like what's twisting to inverting? Twisting is rotating intuitively. But point being is it's some sort of geometric modification that gives us numeric limits. Super simple, moving along. Sensorality, sensorarity. Didn't even say it explicitly, but that pairs now with our self-contained conceptualization, sensorality, sensorability, sensorarity, 2 complete words. What is orality to rarity? Is reality rare? No, reality is ubiquitous. Again, posing any questions, any logic that presents as a question to you. Scarcity is rarity. Sensorality is scarce. Sensorability is susceptibility. Sensorality is susceptibility. Susceptibility is prone. Susceptibility is vulnerability. Sensorality is vulnerability. Sensorality is respectability. Respectable is understandable. What is respect to understanding? The more you understand somebody or something, the more you respect it. Sensorization is globalization. Sensorality is globality. Globe. And this is a fun connection, but we can restate the fundamental theorem of geometry. And again, it's almost trying to point out and talk more about the gradation of the theorems, because this is in order. And so like it has to be the most comprehensive, the more it progresses. But again, it's this feeling. And again, when you're the personal individual who's done all of the proofing of all this stuff, it's just directly obvious that this is like the most progressed you have any one section of ontology. So the fundamental theorem of geometry, and again, I've done all these steps before. They're all in this derivation of speciality. But spirality is conicality. Spirals are cones. All right, and I said we're in this spiral and keep getting down and down and down, and then you go in physics class and say, hey, look, here's our I don't forget what you guys call the diagrams, maybe a Feynman diagram, but just the light cones, right? Your light cone, right? Cones are spirals, geometrically directly. Spirality is conality. What is, and then even so, like, again, if you take one particle, one bit of mass in its path, it can only move a direction left or right, right? That's one line. And so a spiral kind of has this like line intuition towards it, where a cone, you're thinking like two-dimensional. But again, everything is what's three-dimensional, but it's not even three-dimensional. It's stabilized two directions, and then everything's open. And so, but spirals, I would say, I hate using the verbiage here, but I'm going to cringe, but the one-dimensional representation, or spirals, and then cones being the two-dimensional, or I guess cones being the three-dimensional, again, that whole verbiage doesn't make any sense. And so spirals are cones. What is potentiality to vulnerability? What is danger to anger? Natural definition, angle, anger. And then I made it into a little short video, but right, magnetic monopoles do not exist. Well, now we've had this very clear, a complete sentence has a verb and a noun. And you can even have an implied noun or a subject. But, right, magnetic monopoles, well, that is directly an adjective. So we just, that's not relevant. What is a monopole, right? Individual, monopoly, monopoly. But monopoles are spontaneous. That is, they don't exist, right? So when you say magnetic monopoles don't exist, monopoles don't exist. Because again, the charge, right? I almost said electric charge again, but the charge is a dichotomy. The electron is not a point particle. And so monocharges don't exist either. But monopolarity, right? A magnetic pole or electric pole, but it's not electric charge pole, right? A monocharge doesn't exist either. And that is not known in physics. But monopoly does not exist. Monopoly does not exist. Same thing, different pronunciation. But monocharge does not exist, right? This fundamental dichotomy is irreducible in all physical anything. Is science mathematical? What is the theme of science? Sentience is the theme of science. Sentience is literally science. Science is literally sentient. That rock is not doing analysis. Brad is. Another interesting thing, I caught it out in the wild, right? When I'm uploading my YouTube videos, and they're saying, you know, we're going to check for copyrighted material. And so, right, copyrighted material, righted, R-I-G-H-T-E-D is how they spell it. But don't you see how righted, like if you just have the word, right, we've pointed out this dichotomy between, or juxtaposition between right, R-I-T-E, right, R-I-G-H-T, light, L-I-T-E, light, L-I-G-H-T. The right, see, righted contains the syllability of R-I-T-E and just iterated by G-H. And so there is a direct resolution to this. Again, all of this stuff that we haven't like directly resolved comes with this stabilizing demonstration, and we're still deriving. And so you've seen all the results we've proven up until now. It's like, again, I don't remember the order, the chronology of speciality because there's so much of it. There's no point to try to like remember any of it. But you get the complete syllability of R-I-T-E in the spelling of R-I-G-H-T-E-D. And so again, it's just this one, all of language is view, like in history when they have scrolls or when they have their first books, and there's not even like paragraphs, there's not indentation, there's not any sort of like formatting, it's just one big long thing. Like that's what all language like is, and then you like, again, you differentiate it. And so this dichotomy, right? Remember, there is no false paradox in logic at all. Physics is not inconsistent. It's discontinuous, but it's not inconsistent. Mass gap still exists. But this resolution to write RITE versus write RIGHT, I think it's a false differentiation. And again, I've already resolved it. I'm just not going to look it up. Because once I'm done with this proof, I don't know if, again, I will do it again, but that's not possible for at least 7 years. And so, still doing it purely, quote unquote, first principle, because why the fuck not? Regardless, our last dichotomistic pair today, I just talked about it on my economics little clip, but the relationship of what is extortion, right? Oh, I know what extortion is. Again, look at the word, extortion, right? A tort is this verb or legal term that you say for punitive damages. If someone's done something wrong to you, you can sue them, or you can seek compensation, right? So if you're getting extorted, right, someone's taking money from you unjustly, and a tort is the opposite of extortion. And so, fundamental theorem of legality, why not? But it's true, and that's another one that's where it's like, in fundamental physics, we still point out the base pairs that jump out at you, but that was a big one on a personal level. It was like, oh yeah, that makes, like, that's right there. And so that is what I have for you for tonight. My rights continue to be violated. I continue to beg. Absolutely nobody cares. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.